Series on English language where we teach various topics. Today we are going to look at latest, last, fewer, and less. Sometimes these words are being confused in written and spoken English. So we're going to look at latest, last, fewer, less. Now, when we say latest, we're going to explain that before we look at the examples on the board. So, when we say latest is the last up to the present. That's when we use the latest. The last up to the present. Last up to the present. Last up to the present. And we use last when we are talking about the final one. The final one. The final one. Like when you say Z or Z is the last letter of the alphabet. That's the last. That's the last. That's the last. The final one. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. Latest. Latest is the last up to the present. The last up to the present. But last is the final one. Is the final one, as Z or Z is the last letter of the alphabet. So it is wrong to say what is the last news on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is wrong to say what is the last news on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Say what is the latest news on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. What is the latest news on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? It is wrong to say John is the latest man on the queue. John is the latest man on the queue. No. The correct way to say that is John is the last man on the queue. John is the last man on the queue. Now let's look at fewer and less. Fewer and less. Let's look at that. This word less shows, denotes. It shows, it denotes amount, quantity, value of degree. We use fewer when you mean number. When you are talking about number. Let me say it again. Less is used to denote amount. When you want to show amount or quantity or value or of degree, the degree. But we use fewer when we are talking about number. Therefore, if you are talking about less, you may say less water, less food, less money, less education, but you say fewer books, fewer letters, fewer friends, fewer chairs, fewer books, fewer exercise books, fewer textbooks, fewer mobiles. That is how we use that. Note, we say less than 5 or 6 or 10 pounds because the pounds are considered as a sum of money and not as a number of coins. That's why you can say less than 5 pounds, less than 6 pounds, because the pounds are considered as a sum of money, not as a number of coins. Therefore, let me say that again on fewer. Fewer denotes number, But when you use less, you want to show amount, quantity, value, or of degree. So when you use fewer, you are talking about number. When you use less, you are talking about quantity, amount, value, or degree. There you got value or degree. So you can say less water, less food, less money, less education. But fewer books, fewer chairs, fewer elephants, fewer friends, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it is wrong to say Janet has less books than Jackie. Janet has less books. No, say Janet has fewer books than Jackie. Janet has fewer books than Jackie. It is wrong to say people in the village have fewer education than those in the city. No. People in the village have fewer education than those in the city. Don't say that. Say people in the village have less education than those in the city. People in the village have less education than those in the city. And that's how we do that. Remember, we are looking at today latest, last, fewer, and less. Let's revise what we have done. Let's revise our work again. We say latest. We use latest when you are talking about the last up to the present. The last up to the present. But we use last to show the final one. Therefore, it is wrong to say what is the last news on the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Say what is the latest news on the Israeli-Palestine conflict. It is wrong also to say, number 2, John is the latest man on the queue. Say John is the last man on the queue. John is the last man on the queue. When we come to fewer and less, we say less shows amount, quantity, value, or of degree, while fewer shows number. Fewer shows number. Therefore, because we say less shows amount, quantity, value, or degree, you can say less water, less food, less money, less education, but you say fewer books, fewer chairs, fewer friends, fewer letters. However, we have to note that when we use less than 6 pounds, we say less than 6 pounds because the pounds are considered as a sum of money, not a number of coins. Therefore, we say we cannot say Janet has less books than Jackie. We say Janet has fewer books than Jackie. And wrong to say people in the village have fewer education than those in the city. We say people, the correct way to say that is people in the village have less education than those in the city. People in the village have less education than those in the city. And that's that. If you like our video, share, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to support our community-based adult literacy program with materials, with equipment, and so on and so forth. Share, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up.